Now we come to BaaS. So,
BaaS kya?
BaaS kya? BaaS kya? You will say BaaS kya sometime. There are enough of these details. So there was a lot of confusion around this, and I think we've got a reasonable amount of clarity on what this BaaS system is. So effectively, if you're looking to buy a Windsor and you want BaaS, what happens is that you're taking a loan effectively of the battery pack. Right? So MG has tied up with 4 providers, service providers, finance companies, which will offer you this BaaS service. Now they all keep talking about 3.5 rupees per kilometer of usage, and all of them seem to be offering the same rate and stuff like that, except for one. I'll explain how they are. It's interesting how it's all worked out, because there's Bajaj, which offers 3.5 rupees per kilometer.
Auto finance, not auto.
Yeah, Bajaj Finance, and their packages that you pay for 1,500 kilometers a month, which works out to 5,000 something rupees every month, right? Now, which sounds like, why do I need to do that? Now, the interesting thing is in Bajaj's case, they're saying you pay me 5,000 rupees a month. That's the slab. But if you use 2,000 kilometers or 3,000 kilometers, that's fine by me. It doesn't make a difference to me.
You're paying for a minimum of 1,500 kilometers, not a maximum of 1,500 kilometers. Okay.
So each of the plans you'll see is tailored to a certain kind of use case.
Okay.
So then there is the other one is Hero, I think. And in their case, it also has this similar thing, 1,500 kilometers into 3.5. And in their case, if you, it's averaged over 3 months. So it's 4,500 kilometers over 3 months. So every quarter they will balance out this payment, whatever.
So per month 1,500 is not critical, but over a quarter 1,500 per month is critical.
Correct.
Okay.
So over a quarter you'll have 4,500 kilometers to use up
as a block.
Now let's say you used only 4,000 in the first quarter, and in the second quarter you used 5,000. So you went 500 over in the next one. They get balanced out.
Got it.
So you get credit kilometers out of that. And the interesting thing in this also is, if you end up spending more, let's say you travel 6,000 kilometers, so it's gone way past everything, and you end up paying extra for those kilometers, that reduces your loan on the battery pack as well.
That's because battery as a service in this case is just a marketing term. It's actually battery as a loan. And if you think about it as battery as a loan, then you'll immediately understand the transaction you're up for.
Yeah, I think battery as a service in its truest form happens when you're swapping, I guess.
Yeah, and you don't own this battery. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still going to stick you and say, no, this is your battery now, right? So it's not a service.
Correct.
It's a slightly horrifying mangling of the term, but it is an interesting way to present it. But effectively, what they're saying is we've split the vehicle into 2 parts. You can get the whole vehicle if you like, as usual, pay the full price or take a loan, that's fine. But if you don't want to pay that much upfront, then the battery component of this vehicle, we can give it to you on loan, which means eventually you will own that battery pack.
Yeah.
So we spread the cost of the battery ownership over some time, but you still end up owning a battery, which is exactly the opposite of battery as a service.
So I'll tell you what the dream scenario in that would be. Let's say you were to buy a Windsor, you paid 10 lakh rupees. The company says you will give me a deposit of 1 lakh of rupees. You get a battery pack with the car, and the battery is swappable. And every time I need to, I just swap the battery for something else. So I'm just paying for every time I replace the battery for a battery with charge on it.
Yeah, so I pay for the effort of changing the battery, and I pay for the charge that is in that new battery that is coming into my car, but that's my moving cost. But I don't ever own the physical battery. In this particular BaaS, you're going to end up owning a battery.
Yeah. And until we have, like, two-wheelers, we'll see battery swaps.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be lovely to see who works it out best, because that will be the true BaaS experience.
Yes. This clip is actually from a much longer video, which is on our main channel, which is called Motorinc. Why don't you visit us there? This idea in more detail over there with my great friend Kartikeya. You like him, right?